Welcome to Massive Beers. My name's Matt. We do beer stuff here, mostly reviews. We're going to be doing this sucker right here. This comes courtesy of Ecliptic Brewing. Is their Altair Fresh Hop IPA. Assuming they mean wet hop IPA. We'll see. We'll read what's on here. We have Portland, Oregon. It says the bright star in the constellation Aquila Atalo uses fresh 80HA 218 hops to celebrate the annual hop harvest. So it might not be a wet hop beer, but it's a fresh hop beer. So they don't necessarily call out that it's a wet hop beer. I would hope so, being from where they're located. And this is actually canned a month and a half ago. Okay. I'm kind of excited for this. Fresh hop stuff does not suck, and I just want an ABV. Come on, give it to me. 6.5%. It comes courtesy of Ecliptic to send me off beers quite often. And, we're going to get clear beer? Are we going to get clear beer? I think that, well, in today's world, that absolutely 100% qualifies as clear beer. I mean, you can get picky back in the day, whether that's clear or not, but that'd be clear beer, baby. This really kind of tight, pinpointy kind of carbonation to it. It's very, very pretty. It has this kind of like old school IPA kind of look to it. It probably comes off a little bit more brown on camera than it actually looks. It has this really rich kind of West Coast IPA amber kind of color going for it. Index finger just off white head, and just, man, that carbonation. Hopefully that kind of picks up on camera. It is very super tight, relatively kind of sprightly, effervescent kind of carbonation. It has me all kinds of hot and bothered, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's get a nose. It really is malt driven. Okay, there's really not a big hop presence on the nose. There is this tannic tea-like thing, very reminiscent of kind of like old school English kind of hops in there, but nothing as far as any precursor to you're going to get a big wallop of bittering or anything like that. And there's this nice soft maltiness, like a toasted crackeriness, leaning into a little bit of a richer maris ottery thing, but nothing too heavy-handed. It comes off very much English ale. Like English bittering English ale, like not ESB, but just an English kind of IPA with old English hops. That's kind of how the vibe comes off to me, at least on the nose. So we're just going to dive right in. Cheers, y'all. It's fruity. Wow. Did not expect that based off the nose and based off the color. Yeah, it really does kind of ring pretty true to what I expect from like a wet hop beer. Malt driven, nothing too hefty. Drinks a little bit lower than its ABV. There is a decent bittering to this, albeit a little bit generic. But there's this fruity portion of the show on top of that bittering that comes off. It's not like super new school. It's almost like an old school backbone of hops. It's like if Cascades, the Sea Hops had a baby with some English old school hoppies, Kent Golding, that kind of stuff. But then it just added a subtle layer of new school kind of fruitiness on top of it. Like very subtle. I like it. Almost a little perfumey. Like the potpourri perfumey. Like the, I've said this. I haven't said it in a while though, but I've said this multiple times in reviews. That there used to be a lot more of this kind of fruity potpourri thing that reminded me of like Grandma Bathroom. And if you've, in Grandma Bathroom, like, or even Mom, no, Mom did it, so I can say Mom Bathroom, they had that bowl of potpourri petals and stuff like that floating around in the background. I mean, I haven't brought that one out of the woodshed in a while, but it kind of reminds me of like that kind of fruity, perfumey fruity. But everything here is relatively subtle, especially for its ABV. It's drinking much closer to 5 than it would be 6.5. And while it is malt forward and it is malt driven, nothing here is heavy-handed. It's I would stop short of saying everything's running in tandem, but I don't know how to say this. Actually, I do. I can't find anything about this beer that really kind of wows me. Or anything that's like, wow, this is crazy good. Or there's something about this beer that is amazing. Any which way you want to slice or dice that. But I keep wanting to drink it. I guess that's the point of beer. A good beer just makes you want to keep drinking it. This is something that, honestly, and this is where I get on my little soapbox here. I could see somebody making a beer that tastes like this in 3 and change. 3.3, 3.5. If this beer was 3.5, I would buy the crap out of this and drink it all the time. It's where in its 6.5, it kind of jumps the shark a little bit for me. But in the grand scheme of things, it's fun. Not the best wet hopped / fresh hopped IPA I've had. By far and away, not even close to the worst. It just lacks a little something that makes me want to kind of... It needs a little definition of itself. It's a little unsure of itself. And that's probably the best way I could explain it. And I just want it to be a little bit more confident in itself of something. But it's fun. It's tasty. I'm glad I got to try it. And somehow, if you make this 3.5, it's an all-timer for me. So yeah, let's talk about it. Ecliptic. What's your thoughts? Have you been to the brewery? Have you had this beer? Specifically this here, I'm really curious to see if anybody else has had this and what they've thought. In your whole experience with the brewery as a whole, I know they do some wide distribution, and while they can be hit or miss, for me, more hits than misses, they can really kind of bring it home, really fun on specific styles and specific collaborations, which they do a ton of. So if you've had your experiences with Ecliptic, let's talk about it down there. And yeah, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.